Hello, 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 and welcome to episode 9 of the Deadball Specialists. Haters said we would never make it. That's me. I'm Haters. I'd like to welcome my esteemed co-host, Kunal. Great to see you, mate. The name of this episode is Stand for Something or Die in the Morning, Section 80, High Fan Power. But yeah, basically alluding to the fan power that brought down the European Super League.
The disbandment of the Super League, so they say. So this week we'll be looking at the Prem as ever, as we do every week. We'll be looking just a little touch on the Carabao Cup final. We're going to look at the disbanding of the Super League, which we couldn't be happier about, and means that this podcast stays alive, which we're very, very happy about. We'll give you some
Fans
predictions.
Are screaming, by the way.
Yeah, I'm sure they are.
All three of them are like,
Three loyal fans. We love all of you. Every single one of you we love.
We love all three of them.
Yeah, exactly. We'll give you some predictions and then we'll also give you a little insight as to what's going to be happening next week. So, without much further ado, let's crack on. And the first game we're going to talk about is the Liverpool-Newcastle game. Now, I've got so much to say about this game, as you can imagine. The one word I think I used the most was pathetic. That's the word that I used the most. And the reason I use that word is we obliterated them in the first half. We dominated that game. We could have had about 5 or 6 goals. Jota had a hat-trick of chances. Mane had a couple of chances. Salah had another chance. It was a nice finish from Salah. Good touch. Good goal. No two ways about it. And Newcastle looked dangerous in moments. Absolutely, they did have dangerous moments. And Saint-Maximin, as ever, was a threat. Not throughout the whole 90 minutes, but I think he had a few patches here and there throughout the game. He is. And we went 1-0 up. Milner comes on to solidify the game. We did look a lot more in control when he did come on, and it was a bit calmer. But again, we just started to crumble 10 minutes from time. Everyone looked panicked that we needed to get 1-0 over the line. Klopp was screaming on the sidelines. There was no calm in the team whatsoever. It was a lot of panic, as if like, oh my God, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? Everyone manned the stations. We panicked and they scored. Now, the goal wasn't great. It was a sloppy goal, a scruffy goal in my eyes. How we didn't put them away well before then, it's scary. Fabinho, only about 5 minutes before they scored a goal, had a lovely bit of game management and just barged the player off the ball and took a yellow card for it. And I was just like, I love to see it. And he was screaming at the players for the disallowed goal, telling them how to defend and where to defend. And then 2 minutes later, they let in a goal. What can you say?
Liverpool were kind of lucky to win that game, if I'm being honest with you. Oh, sorry, to draw that game.
Lucky to draw the game?
Oh, yeah. I feel, not on balance of play, not on the way they... Not at all. I'm talking about pure chances and kind of the goal that was disallowed for Callum Wilson. That should never have been disallowed. Once again, VAR has shut the bed. That should have been a goal all day long. He had no idea. It literally rebounded it off his arm. What's he supposed to do about that? It was never deliberate handball. So that should have been a goal.
Yeah.
And Joe Willock, man from Hayland, one of us. Oh my God. The fact that that terrorist, right, Osama bin Arteta, has sent Joe Willock out on loan when he has man like Xhaka and El Neni in the midfield and Ceballos. By the way, Willock has more goals than Ceballos, Xhaka, Partey, and El Neni combined.
Wow, that's bad. And he's been on loan for what, 3 or 4 months?
In the 4 months, 2 weeks.
Wow.
2 weeks when he's been
That's
at Newcastle.
shocking.
He has won Newcastle something like 9 points, right? Either from equalizers or winning goals or whatnot in the past 2 weeks alone. Okay. What does that tell you? I thought Newcastle were compact, defended well. Alan Saint-Maximin was a real threat on the left-hand side. By the way, that body check from Fabinho, I know he got booked. I know it was a yellow, but it fucking should have been more than that. He literally just took them.
No, it was just it was a very professional foul. It was if that in the game is ever more than a yellow, I would give up watching football, because that wasn't last man. It wasn't last man. It was on the halfway line. There was players everywhere. It's just a very professional foul, and I love to see that.
Something?
I love to see
I
it.
was at I was in the North Bank at Swansea at home, right? So there was, I think it was in September. When we used to work together. I went to Arsenal versus Swansea at home, and Mo Barrow, right, the Swansea left winger, absolutely tormented us, right? Absolutely tormented us. Anyway, Granit Xhaka, just complete like Fabinho, takes him out in and around the halfway line, right? So I'm thinking, yeah, a booking. Granit Xhaka gets sent off for that.
But that's never a red card. That's never a red card.
And I promise you, Mertesacker, Monreal, there were like 3 defenders like way back there, and he should never have been sent off. But he got sent off, and he served. I think it was a 3-match ban. They said it was. I don't know what it was, but he served a 3-match ban for that. The straight red. So yeah, the inconsistency is killing me. But yeah, I thought Newcastle were good value for their points, and I think Liverpool's Champions League dream is fading by the day.
Well, I was going to say that. I think I've said it from day one on this podcast that I don't think they'll get it anywhere, and I know you've felt opposite, and we've had a few people that have actually felt opposite, callers and guests on the show that I thought that Liverpool get top 4. In my eyes, I didn't think we'd do it because I just think I'd seen too much of what had happened in this game all year, just in different ways. For example, so been many games where we couldn't see games off, and there are a lot of games where we couldn't grab control. So there's loads of different reasons, but we haven't been able to see games through as we have the last 3 or 4 years this year. So I think that's what made me feel that way. And I think the game against Leeds, we should have seen that out 1-0. If we won that game 1-0 and this game 1-0, I would have said, do you know what? We might actually sneak into top 4 here. I'll take it back. And top 4 is a real possibility for us. But I think the 2 draws just show exactly where we're at this moment in time. And that is, we don't deserve to be in the top 4. We don't deserve it based on what's happened this year. And it pains me to say that. But if we get Champions League spots this year, I don't know how deserved it would be. We would have just scraped it. So it's a tricky one. Let's move on to the Arsenal-Everton game. Sorry, bear with me 1 second. Before we jump onto the game, let's go through the predictions that we both had for the Liverpool-Newcastle game. So this week, we both got 1 prediction right each. Your prediction that was correct was actually this game. You said it was be 1-1 between Liverpool and Newcastle. You did, yeah. I said it would be 2-1 to Liverpool. So you actually got that. You got that one correct from last week. So well done.
Okay.
Now for the Arsenal,
should put money on it, but whatever.
Well, you should have done. Now the Arsenal-Everton game, I predicted 2-1 Arsenal. You predicted 1-0. It was 1-0 to Everton. Now, it was a competitive game. Both teams had chances. I don't think you could blame Arteta for that result. By the way, can I just say, I think it was one of those games where Leno's mistake was not Arteta's fault. That happens in the game. Mistakes happen. That was a blunder. Arteta played well. You did create chances in that game. If you create nothing, I could understand why you can blame Arteta. But you could have easily won that game. So could have Everton. Everton are a decent enough team this year, and I think you created enough to actually get something out of that game. The one thing I will say, and I think I might have mentioned it before, I want Saka at Liverpool. I think he would flourish at Liverpool. I think
Saka as in like what? Bukayo Saka.
As in Bukayo Saka. That would be my dream player to buy in the summer, I think, now. Because I think he's got a bit of everything that we're looking for.
There's more chance of you buying Messi. Never.
That's your opinion, but it could happen. It could happen.
It's facts. It's not opinion. It's facts. It's never gonna happen. Whoa. No way.
It could, I would love that to be the case. I don't think it's a reality. But I like him.
It's the backseat, Halle Berry, but it's gonna happen, mate. You know.
I think we want to give him a escape out. Champions League, good, better football with a better manager.
Champions what? You don't know the Champions League?
No, it's just a minor blip. We'll get back into it soon enough. We're more likely to get back into it before you are, correct?
All I'm hearing is promises and ifs, buts, and maybes. I don't hear anything concrete. If it was City, understand, but Liverpool, no way, impossible.
We're a better option than Arsenal right now. You can't deny that.
Suarez was a better option for Arsenal at the time when he wanted to join us. He was desperate to join us.
He was never desperate. He was never desperate.
He was gagging to join us, and you
no,
guys.
you were gagging to have him, but you couldn't.
Clearly, you guys do not.
Your disrespectful offer got rejected. Anyway, we digress. We digress.
What release clauses are?
Yeah, your disgraceful, disrespectful bid was embarrassing. But anyway, the Arsenal game. So how are you going to blame Arteta for this? Because genuinely, I think you could have got someone out the game, and it was one of those games.
Here's why I'll blame Arteta. So obviously Oba is out with malaria. He's been to Africa. I've caught malaria, not great. Laka pulled his hammy. Fair enough. He's gonna be out for a while. So What did he do? Eddie Nketiah, right? Who's not even been on the bench for the majority of games, been out in the wilderness. Yeah, do you know what? I'm gonna start you. I'm gonna start you in a big game like that and just play you at home. And yeah, bang goals for us. Fucking idiot.
Whereas, who did you play? Who did you play instead?
Gabby Martinelli.
Yeah, fair. Martinelli could play there. Yeah.
Months on edge, right? This guy, he's came back from his knee injury. He's fit. He's hungry. Start him up front. That's his natural position. Why would you start Nketiah? Makes no sense whatsoever. So, yeah, once again, Summer bin Arteta out here doing a madness, throwing us under the bus. Cannot wait for this man to be gone. Cannot stand him. I hate him to bits.
I think he's there for a while. I can't see you getting rid of him. What reason have you got to get rid of him at this moment in time? You don't.
Because he plays turgid football. Because he's fucking 10th. Because he loses to every Tom, Dick, and Harry who pulls up to our ends. Get rid. Not even Emery. Not even Emery was this bad.
No, Emery wasn't this bad, but Arteta can say he's in a rebuilding project. He's had
rebuilding project.
He is.
This piece of shit has Thomas Partey in the midfield. Okay,
that was his signing. Remember that? That was his signing. Remember
his signing, right? Oh Lord, I don't believe in any particular kind of manager signing in this day and age. I think it's done by a committee and sports directors. But he has a world-class talent in Thomas Partey in his midfield. He has Oba, he has Laka, he has Bukayo Saka saving his job every other week. He has Emil Smith-Rowe out here doing a madness. Didn't pay for them. Came from the academy. He has Kieran Tierney, one of the best left backs in Europe.
Yeah.
With this squad, any other manager would be pushing for top 4 easily. Yeah, he has us languishing in 10th place. This man, do you know what? I believe the rumors. What people said. All he did for Guardiola, put the cones out and hand that bibs.
No, come on. He's learned under Guardiola. He wasn't that much of a basic guy. He
learned under Guardiola. It's fucking nothing. He's learned bullshit under Guardiola. Like, yeah, how to hand out bibs and put out cones.
He's won an FA Cup with you guys already.
Team won the FA Cup.
But no, he was the manager at that time. At this moment in time, he has a trophy under his belt as an Arsenal manager.
Ainsley Maitland-Niles doing a madness at left wing back, won the FA Cup. Oba with his goals won the FA Cup. Ceballos playing like prime Iniesta won the FA Cup.
That was Arteta's team. But let's shy away from it. Well, we can move away from that game because I think, in all honesty, Everton needed that win to keep their top 4 hopes alive. You guys, your season's over, right? You're not going to finish. The best you can finish is what? 9th, maybe 8th or 9th. I can't see you. And having a year away from Europe is probably not the worst thing for you guys right now. You could win Europa. If he wins Europa this year and wins the FA Cup last year, that's just in overall that's a succession and that is success realistically.
Technically, yes, but then I just realised. So we've got Villarreal with 2 legs.
Yeah.
So it'll be Unai Emery versus Arteta. So Al Qaeda versus ISIS. Right?
Yeah.
And if we overcome them, We've got United in the final.
And,
Can you imagine losing that? Like,
I mean, if you get United in the final and you don't win that,
no, if that happens, I'll retire. I quit. I quit football in general.
you can't quit football. Now, the Wolves Burnley game is what I want to move on to next. Now, this game, we predictions. I said 1-1, you said 0-0. But couldn't be more wrong in our predictions. But 4-0 Burnley, amazing stuff. Chris Wood, it was a fantastic first half hat trick from Wood. I think the first goal was a tight angle, was actually quite a nice hit. The other two were pretty kind of box standard, tap and header. But are Burnley now safe? We've had a bit of an upturn, unfortunately, so they're safe now,
I'll say something. If it was like last game of the season and Burnley had to go away to City and win 4-0, they would do
it. Probably, yeah. He's got them well drilled. He has got them well drilled. I mean, Burnley dominated that game throughout, and really they created a lot of chances. They looked like quite a good team in that game. Wolves, don't know what to say about Wolves because I think maybe it's just mid-table mediocrity now. They just don't care anymore. But
they're missing the talent. They're missing him.
Yeah, but we said that all season. They've kind of coped without him. So the last few weeks they've been really, really poor.
He's so important.
He is. I mean, look. Also, the hit from Westwood was fantastic. It was a lovely technique for that. But I mean, we've talked about Jimenez, but they have coped without him enough. It's the last few weeks specifically. Their form has just been terrible.
Yes, that's why I said 0-0 because I don't see any goals in their team. I mean, I wasn't banking on Burnley to score 4. But yeah, I mean, I did not back Wolves to score any, and they didn't. They've been really awful in the past 3 to 4 weeks. So yeah.
Okay, we'll move on to the Villa West Brom game, which finished 2-2. Now that was a really, really good game. Actually, one of the best games of the weekend, I thought.
Great game.
How did you see it?
I thought it was a really good game. I think I backed West Brom to win.
You did not. You said it was a 1-1. You said 1-1 draw, and I said a 1-0 Villa. I said 1-0 Villa victory. You said a 1-0 draw.
I mean, okay, cool. So I thought kind of West Brom would have a good account of themselves, and they did. I still think they could stay up though. We'll see though.
Look, I think they had to win today to stay up. I think they were 2-1 up for the longest time, and I kind of felt for them. I thought if anyone can pull a miracle out, it's Big Sam in that occasion, right? And West Brom were really tenacious throughout in defending and pressing the ball quite high up the pitch. I thought they were really, really hurrying all of the Villa players all the time. Villa continuously on the attack throughout the game, but I thought West Brom had some good chances in the game, actually some really, really good chances. Deserved their lead. Villa not clinical enough throughout, but I thought West Brom were good value for their lead. And if honestly, I thought they probably deserved to just nick that game 2-1. I felt for them they lost it. They drew it, so it must have felt like a loss rather. But there's some terrible goals, 2 penalties, own goal. I have a question for you. Ross Barkley was supposed to be the next Steven Gerrard. What happened to this guy?
Not for me. I think Villa have way many kind of better midfielders within that position. They don't need him. Yep, great for like a 1-year kind of loan. They just, they scraped staying up in the Premier League. But I think next season, Villa should be looking for much better kind of centre midfielders because Villa play 3 in the midfield. I don't think Ross Barkley kind of works in a 4-3-3. So,
but this is my point: is that he was touted as the next Steven Gerrard, like a dynamic, marauding midfielder to burst through the lines. He used to skip it. He had. There was so much talk when he was at Everton. He was coming up the ranks. He got the move to Chelsea. Nothing happened at Chelsea. Then he got loaned out to Villa. Now,
here's the thing. He should never left Everton. Never left Everton.
Okay.
That was his mistake. leading Everton. I think if he stayed at Everton, he would have come kind of close to that kind of level of quality. But he left Everton in search of, I don't know what, maybe money, maybe, whatever. I mean, because at Everton, he was starting every week. He was a superstar. He was loved. What was he missing? Maybe money. So, yeah, he messed up there. I think he's a good player. I'll be honest. I would take him in our midfield right now.
Would
With another
you?
good thing.
Would you?
100%.
He's good. I think he's a good player too.
He's a good player. He's better than what we have. So, why would I not take him? But still, if I was Villa, I would have other options, and I would not kind of take him next season.
Okay. We'll move on to the West Ham Chelsea game, which is a massive, massive game for that top four race. Now, predictions. You said 3-2 to West Ham. You thought they were going to take that game 3-2.
Really did. Yeah.
I said 2-1 to Chelsea with Werner to score a goal. So Werner scored the goal. So nailed the scorer. Got the score wrong, but I thought Chelsea would win and Chelsea did go ahead and win that. I mean, it was a nice pass and finish for the goal. I thought it wasn't the most entertaining game, in all honesty, throughout. I thought it was a bit boring. But Werner and Mount were threats throughout.
Yeah, I mean, once again, Money Mace has shown his quality and his value.
Although, can I say this? There are times in that game I just thought, why are you shooting from 35 yards out all the time? Yeah, it looks nice and your technique is nice and it looks good and it looks pretty and you hit the ball really well. But what is that achieving at this moment in time? Is it just to look good? What was the point of that? Sometimes he does a bit of that.
100%. It's for the vibes,
Yeah, for the vibes.
That's what he's all about. These young players, I get that. But yeah, Money Mace was fantastic. Timo Werner obviously scored the winner, but he missed basically an open goal.
He did, yeah. I did, yeah.
I was like, how did he miss that? Did not expect that at all. I thought West Ham were going to win. I genuinely do think that West Ham will finish a Champions League team, by the end of it, and I hope so because it will be nice shake up, So yeah.
I don't think they'll get it personally. I think it'll be what I said at the beginning of the year, beginning of the podcast rather, which was Leicester and Chelsea. I mean, we're gonna be looking at the Leicester game next actually, and I said a 1-1 draw in that game because that was a West Brom game as well, and you said 2-1 to West Brom. So neither of us had high. We thought Leicester's kind of dodgy form would continue into this week. Yeah. But what's really, really interesting about that is that it was Iheanacho's good form which continued. He's now scored 8 goals in 11 games. Really, really good return for him. Vardy's drought has finally ended. 13 games, no goals, finally back on the score sheet. And Leicester showing that they deserve to be in that Champions League spot. They've played really, really well all year. There's 6 games left, I think, if I'm not mistaken, or 5 games left. And Leicester only need to win 3 of those really to cement their Champions League places. So I think they've done that. I think Chelsea are pretty secure. I think we've got the easiest running out of West Ham, Leicester, and Chelsea. So I don't really think Leicester are in that conversation anymore. I think they're cemented into third, and I think this win is exactly just the end of that conversation of if they're going to make Champions League place or not. How did you see the game, and how did you see them finishing?
I mean, to be fair, I kind of backed West Brom to win it because I thought, Big Sam would pull a rabbit out of the hat, but Leicester were completely dominant. I'm glad Vardy kind of ended his goal drought. That was really important. Wonderful player, Premier League great. Leicester finishing. I'm gonna say they're gonna finish in the top 4. I didn't.
Oh, so you didn't back them before though. So you change your. So you changing your opinion.
I am only because the number of games at the moment is there aren't that many games left.
Yeah.
And I don't see them kind of falling out of it anytime soon. And maybe West Ham and Chelsea would fall off. So yeah, I think Leicester will finish on the top.
Okay. So we'll move on to the Villa City game. That was the game I got right. I said it'd be 2-1 to City. You said 3-1 City. So my first prediction right in a while. So that's nice. So it was a great. Yeah, well, exactly. Yeah. It was a great start for Villa. Really, really good goal. Quite direct, actually. Nice long ball over the top, and just fast thinking. Took a quick free kick, outshot for the player. Nice touch, square across, tapping. But as ever, as expected, all City after that, right? The onslaught began, and my boy Foden again. And I've said it from day one. I think, in my eyes personally, it goes out of the young players, out of the new crop of young players across the world that everyone talks about. It's Mbappe, number one, then Haaland, and then I think Foden is knocking on that door for that. Not for the third spot, but in that third tier, that third level. Like I think he's above Grealish and Maddison and Sancho and Sterling. I think he's above those players.
Yes. Sterling's like
probably a bit grade 2 Sterling, yeah. So forget that.
Yeah.
But
I agree with you. Foden is up there. For me, it goes Haaland. I don't know.
No, not over Mbappe. No chance.
Every week I change my mind. Mbappe has been doing bits now for like 5 years now. Whereas Haaland came on the scene like last week. So
yeah.
It's kind of hard to judge, but those young players, I think Foden, for me, you can say he's up there.
Yeah.
Knocking him up.
Yeah.
You know, so an absolute generational talent.
Absolutely.
Wonderful guy. I watched him in the EFL final today. He was out here doing bits. Can you imagine a player like that coming through your academy?
Yeah, amazing. And also to have someone as Pep as your manager, and I know you call him Fraudiola, we've had this debate, but someone of that ilk to have that much faith in you is a really, really big thing for a young player. Regardless of who the manager is, it's a big confidence boost for you, and it allows you to go and do your football freely. And if Foden's free to play football, he's so silky, man. He reminds me of Iniesta the way he plays football. He's in that mold.
Do you know how big of a compliment that is?
I know, it's massive.
To say you remind me of Iniesta, that's like, wow. Wow, that's crazy.
I mean, we're just two normal guys with opinions, so I don't know what my opinion means, but I do think he reminds me of that kind of a guy.
We're Deadball Specialists. So,
we are now, yeah.
If we didn't give a Deadball opinion at least once an episode while we're here.
Yeah. So, also a silly red card for John Stones, just bundling about being a bit of an idiot. I didn't see the point of it.
Hold on, was that the one where he?
There's just two silly fouls. Basic fouls.
Oh yeah, sorry. That was I think it's the West Ham Chelsea game where I saw a red card, but yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's the West Ham Chelsea game. Was it Balbuena?
It was Balbuena, wasn't it? Yeah, it was stupid. Man.
He clotted it up front, right? He just absolutely booted it. His foot landed right on the guy's calf. He sent off.
Yeah.
How is that?
Yeah. No, I know.
Come on, man.
I know. It was stupid.
Like, that was shocking decision. Shocking.
Okay, let's skip ahead to the next game, which is Spurs Southampton. So for that one, I predicted 1-0 Spurs. You thought it'd be a 0-0. It was 2-1 to Spurs. I'm going to let you kick us off on that one. Tell me, what did you think?
I did not expect that. I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of weird to see Ryan Mason on the bench.
Yeah.
On a personal level, I think Ledley King should be at least the interim manager. Ledley King's been there for a while, former player, former captain, club legend, coach, been there for years. I don't know why kind of Ryan Mason has been picked up as the whatever. Funny story. Do you remember where we used to work? Old Street, 140.
Yeah.
So do you remember that Shell petrol station?
Yeah, on the corner, yes.
Yeah, on the corner. Yeah. So I remember one time on a Friday, I was working late and I was leaving. And I walked down, going towards Old Street Station, and who did I see coming out of a Porsche Panamera? It was Ledley King.
What at Old Street? I
Old
suppose,
Street.
yeah, it
That
makes sense.
Shell on petrol station on the corner. My man was filling up his Porsche Panamera with like the expensive unleaded.
With the expensive unleaded, yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah, exactly. I was like, what is that Ledley King? It's like, shit. He probably pulled a hammy getting out the car. It is what it is. Yeah,
He was
like,
made
I
of
couldn't
glass.
believe it. Literally, it's like Ledley King, like filling up his Porsche.
Well, thank you. Well, I enjoyed that story, mate. But tell me more importantly about the game, because Ledley King's not the manager.
Yeah.
So tell me what you thought of the
Yeah.
game.
I don't know. I thought it was I thought it was a really kind of cagey game and whatnot. I was expecting a 0-0. For the most part, I thought it was quite enjoyable. It was a good game, but I thought Spurs were lucky to win that.
Yeah,
They were lucky to win that. They did, in my opinion, they did not deserve to win that game, but they ground it out. Being at home and whatnot, I thought they ground it out.
I mean, look, there was an amazing double save by Lloris, and the last 2 weeks I've seen Lloris play actually in the final and in this game. He's been really, really good again. He's found a bit of form, and I mean, he's been. Yeah. It was terrible for the last few years, I think, and he's found a bit of form again. My boy Danny Ings scoring goals, doing bits. Big fan of Ings. I know we mentioned the potential link to City, and I think how great a stopgap he would be. I know we've discussed that before. I think he's a top striker, and it was a classic Danny Ings goal. Bale's goal was really, really good. And when Bale is fully fit, flying Bale, who doesn't love to watch Carabao?
There's no stopping.
But he showed a flash of a bit of something, and the rest of the game was kind of quiet, I thought, personally. Son doing what Son does, and a disallowed goal and a penalty. The Spurs thing is an interesting conundrum, I think. Like, now they've lost the final, they've got nothing left there. They'll be in Europa League next year. They've not got Champions League football. The sacked Mourinho, who really would have been the guy that could have maybe got something out of that final. Now, say whatever you want about Mourinho, when it comes to winning cups, he does know how to win cups. He doesn't know how to win finals. His success rate is quite high. So it seemed, I know, partly to do with payments and the Jamie Redknapp voice note they got leaked, which was quite a funny one. I don't know if you've heard it. It's very, very good. So I think Spurs have got nothing now. They've got a massive stadium, no fans, a lot of investment gone into that club, and they're not going to show anything for it. And they try to join the Super League as well. So it's a very, very interesting time to be a Spurs fan right now. I think they've got a lot going on with a lot of uncertainty in the air. And I think for a team that was going, their trajectory was going that way, all of a sudden they sacked the manager that was sending them that way, and now they're like that. Up and down, up and down, up and down. Really, really weird decisions. Very unfootball decisions, but hey ho. It is what it is. Let's move on to the Sheffield United-Brighton game. So it's 1-0 Sheffield United. I said 2-1 Brighton. You said 1-0 Brighton. Both got that wrong as well. So, I mean, that is an upset. That's an upset if there ever was. A relegated Sheffield United against a Brighton team that are not entirely safe right now and are a good football team. It was a surprising result, but, you know, it was an even game. Both had some chances. Brighton grew into the game a lot. It was a disallowed goal as well for Brighton. So I felt for them. I don't know how that goal was disallowed. It wasn't, in my eyes, I don't think it should have been. And Brighton overall were the better team, I thought, personally. As they are, they've just been a bit unlucky. This is the thing that we said this before, haven't we, about Brighton's string of results, how most games you think, yeah, they probably should have won that, or at least got a draw out of it because they created so many chances. Same in this game, but Sheffield United took it.
I mean, yeah, I really did back Brighton to win that because they're in danger and Sheffield United have nothing to play for. But I don't think either of us kind of counted on David McGoldrick. David, honestly, he is probably the most underrated striker in the Premier League. I'm being real with you. He does not get the credit he deserves.
He's a very, very goes about his business quietly striker, and he does
Why?
stuff. I agree.
Exactly.
I agree.
Exactly. He leads the line. He kind of he goes into the channels. He's on the end of things. He scores goals. A player like him is so underrated.
I would agree wholeheartedly with you there. I think he does go along the business, and he's underrated. And maybe he'd get a move to a better club, because I think I could see him doing stuff for a team like a Burnley. He wouldn't be the worst option at somewhere like Leeds, really, as a replacement for Bamford when Bamford's not fit or injured. He would come. I think he'd do all right at Leeds, at a good football playing side.
100%. He is a Premier League player. 100%.
Yeah, I think so. So that's. I mean, there wasn't that much in that game either. I think a lot of the games this weekend were a bit nothing to say, a bit boring in my eyes. A lot of them. Because the next game we're going to discuss is the Leeds United game, which was 0-0. I said 3-1 United. You said a 2-2 draw. It should have been a penalty against Shaw. Let me just say, with VRL making these really weird decisions, disallowing goals for hitting your arm when you're running, you can't do anything about it. Then when it does hit a defender's arm, you're not giving the penalty. And even though he went like that and it hit his arm, it was, I don't know.
Fuck VAR, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Leeds started well. Overall, there weren't a lot of chances throughout the game. It was a bit of a boring game.
I agree with you. It was not exciting. I see Leeds versus Man United at Ellen Road. I'm thinking, big game, exciting football, loads of goals, and it wasn't that at all. Really disappointed. Overall, I feel a draw was a fair result.
I wouldn't disagree with you at all.
Mm.
Now, let's then look at the Chelsea-Brighton game, which is the last game of the weekend to look at. So that was 0-0. Again, I said 2-1 Chelsea, you said 1-0 Chelsea. So, not much. So Chelsea.
What did I say?
You said 1-0 Chelsea.
Okay.
And I said 2-1 Chelsea. 0-0. Again, not much to say. I mean, this week's run of games has been really low entertainment, I would say.
Yeah, I felt it too.
Brighton has never had chances. I mean, the second half was better for Brighton. They probably deserved the goal out of it, I thought. But Chelsea kind of controlled the game overall. I mean, it was 0-0. What did you think?
I mean, again, it was for the most part, it was a very boring game. But there was a chance where Welbeck, that guy Welbs, he basically kind of did his usual, opened his body up, curl, hit the post. Yeah, exactly, hit the post. So I was really thinking that was a goal. But if he'd have scored that, there would have been no complaints. But yeah, for the most part, very boring. Not that entertaining at all. But yeah, I mean, 0-0 was a fair result.
Yeah. So that takes us through kind of the Prem fixtures, because I think they were so boring. I think this week we didn't have as much to discuss about the games as we normally would. Let's look at the Carabao Cup final, or Carabao Cup final rather than Carabao.
Yes.
Let's get your take on it, mate. What did you think?
I thought City, in the first 15 minutes, absolutely demolished Spurs. Spurs didn't even get into the final third of City. They were all over them like a cheap jacket. Absolutely just gave them no room to breathe. And City should have won that game, but they should have won it by 4 or 5 goals. Easily.
Yes. Easily.
Like the fact that they won 1-0 from a corner, from a header, all right, fair enough. But City were all over them. Over them. And
I thought Laporte should have been sent. Laporte should have been sent off.
Yes, we can't deny that. I mean,
for this man to then go and score the winner, if you were a Spurs fan, you would be livid. Absolutely livid.
I'd be fuming. I'd be fuming
Yeah.
because this guy should not even be on the pitch to score a header like that. So I get that. Yeah.
So, I mean, there's that. I think Spurs had their chances. City
Mm.
dominated. Foden was great. But again, it comes down to the fact that this man should have been sent off and he then goes scores a winner. 10 men
Mm.
after 60 minutes. You think Spurs would kick on in that game?
Yeah. I would think Spurs would win that, but yeah, it is what it is. But City took full advantage of that, and yeah, that was a really interesting game. I thought Sterling was fantastic. I thought Foden was brilliant.
Yeah.
And in all honesty, they deserve to win that game.
Yeah, they do that. I'd agree. Absolutely. So the Super League, Ahmed, the Super League. Now, I said to you in the last week's podcast that it wasn't going to happen, if you remember. I said, I don't think it's going to happen. I think it's a ploy. I think that although it's despicable, I don't think it will come to fruition. Now, I didn't see the fan power being as big a thing, but it was wonderful to see. Like really, really, like proper, really, really good to see. I think what I will say is though, there's a few things to note on this, right? In my eyes, just trying to look at it really analytically rather than passionate as a football fan, just trying to really break it down. And it was mainly the Yanks, right? The Americans trying to franchise football, right, and turn it into American style franchise ownership, right? That's one thing to know. I don't think this goes anywhere. I think they now have had a massive negative reaction to it, so they've curtailed it for a while and it gets put to the backside. But the new online fan, right? There's a lot of online football fans nowadays that don't care about a lot of games. They just want to see the big games all the time. So there is a market for this, which is why I think they come up with the idea in the first place. And I think they will eventually find a way to make it work. But I just think the fan power is so strong that we managed to repel it, and I'm so glad because it needed to happen. If this thing was created, it was the death of football. But I don't think this has gone anywhere. I think this is just the beginning of it, personally.
I call cap on that particular analysis.
Cap what? A cap what?
Cap, as in bull.
Well,
Not the
I was right about it not being a thing, and it didn't happen, did it? So I was right there.
Yes, you were. I'll give you that because I was convinced like it was going to happen.
Yeah,
By the way, JP Morgan financed this thing, right?
they
And
did.
they had all
Yes.
kinds of like analysis, and people working behind the scenes like, well, what could go wrong? And they said, well, UEFA might kick back, and a couple of maybe government regulations and whatnot. They not once did they ever consider the backlash of the fans, which kind of brought this thing down. I'm so glad this venture is dead.
Yes.
Fuck the ESL. The ESL can SMD. I hate the competition. Florentino Perez.
But he's not letting go, mate. This is my point. He has not let this thing go. He has said openly, it's not going anywhere. This is my point. Is I don't think it's going anywhere. It's just a delay thing.
He's the Spanish Thanos, okay? Yeah, he won't let it go, but he will let it go by force. He will let it go by force, okay? He'll have no choice. Yeah, he'll have no choice. The thing about the kind of international fan, I know Arsenal. Just to give you kind of like a some perspective on this, I was in a bar at 4 a.m. in Tokyo, and I walked in, and I was it was 2018, and I went to go watch the Europa League semi-final when we were away to Atletico Madrid.
Yeah.
I think we lost 1-0. Diego Costa scored the goal. Anyway, we didn't make the final. There were guys there who were slumped over. By the way, like by the time the game finished, like 6 a.m. and there were guys who were slumped over at the bar in their suit and tie and everything, and they had to go to work at 8 a.m. the next day. If you don't think the international fan doesn't care about our club or, aren't kind of fully with us, then you're clearly mistaken.
But this is my point. I think you're fighting your own argument here. My whole point is that that's a big game in the Europa League against Atletico Madrid. Right, okay. So that is Arsenal, a team that wanted to be in the Super League against another massive team, and the fans are there at 4 a.m. staying up watching that game. That's exactly my point. Is that the new age fan, wants to see a lot of big games. They don't really care about the Stokes, the West Broms. They care about competition. But I'm not saying it's going to happen anytime soon. But I don't think the conversation is over. And I don't think this is going any away. I think they'll continue to work on it in the background and find another way to try and make it a reality, is what I think.
To prove your point wrong, 12 years ago, I was in a small Swedish fishing village.
12 years ago. We're talking about
12
the
years ago.
modern fact,
12,
the modern
12
age
years ago.
fan.
12 years ago, I was in a small Swedish fishing village, right? And obviously, like, I was thinking, we're playing Villa away at Villa Park. Where am I going to watch this game? I went into like a local bar, and do you know what? I saw wall-to-wall Arsenal fans. This town has like maybe 15,000 people in it, and they're there at what time it was, whatever, watching early kickoff.
I mean, this is a very anecdotal story, but sure.
I mean, I
guess, yeah.
guess, right, you know.
But no, I get. I mean, I'm so glad. The most important thing, and I think we're both of the same viewpoint here, that it got stopped in its tracks, and fans were like,
"So guys,
no, we're not doing this."
Yeah.
I mean, that's massive in itself. So,
Mm.
let's also quickly touch upon why I think they won't let it go away. It's because I think these billionaires want that payday.
Of course. You're not a billionaire unless you're making more money. I get
Exactly.
But what these billionaires don't understand is that football is not a part of that, right? Our clubs, our history, our heritage, it's not played in the boardroom. You know, it's not displayed on an Excel spreadsheet. You know, it's by us. It's on the terraces and in the pubs and on the in the stand. You know, these people can't relate to that.
No, they can't. They can never relate to it. But then, for how many years has that been slowly dying? If you think about the fact that players get more and more money, billionaire owners are buying football
all
clubs.
at once. It could slowly die all at once. They would never, ever, ever in a million years, as long as we're alive, as long as we're breathing, it could never, ever take it into this Super League bullshit. Never, ever.
I hope you're right. I hope more than anything you're right. You know that.
What these people don't understand, right, is that these clubs mean the world to us, right? Yeah. It's not just, it's bigger than football. It means more than football. Yeah. For me, right? For me, me and my family came over from Africa and the Middle East, and we settled in North London, Islington, and Arsenal, the football club, was our anchor to the community. Is what kind of drew us to it. Okay, it is more than a football club. It is more than a football, and that's what these people don't understand. It is the world to us because you know why? It is our community.
It is the community. Yeah.
It is our people.
Yeah.
It is a reflection of who we are. Our football clubs, our community, it is a reflection of who we are. It doesn't matter if we win titles. It doesn't matter if we win games. I don't give a shit. We could be in the conference. I don't give a fuck. My club is my club, you know? And that's what these billionaires and these Americans will never understand. They will never understand the spirit. No. They will never understand the spirit. They will never understand the camaraderie. They will never understand what it truly means to support a club. Like I said, I think was it you I told or someone else? I remember coming back from Kiev when we played Dynamo Kiev one time years ago, landing at Luton Airport, and I had £20 in my account.
Yeah.
£20 in my account.
Just £20.
£20 in my account. That's all I had.
Right.
Literally, I was thinking, how am I going to eat this week? You know, but would I trade that? No, I wouldn't trade that.
Yeah.
Would I do something different? No, I wouldn't do something different because they're my club and I love them and I would follow them throughout the world. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well, football has won, so we can all agree to that. Now, let's have a look at some predictions for next week. Now, obviously, we've both only got one right this week, so hopefully we're a bit better moving forward. The first game is Leicester versus Palace. I'm going to come out straight right and say 2-0 to Leicester.
Yeah, I back Leicester. I'm going to say 2-0 Leicester.
Okay, so you agree with me. Nice, it's a change.
Yeah. Kelechi and Vardy.
Yeah, okay. Then again, it's Southampton versus Leicester. So Leicester have got a couple of games throughout the weekend. So Southampton Leicester, I think again I'm going to go for, but I think Southampton scored Danny Ings, so I'm going to say 2-1 Leicester again.
I'm going to go 3-1 Leicester.
Okay. Then we got Palace versus City. So I'm going to say 3-1 City.
2-0 City.
Okay. Brighton versus Leeds. I think Brighton need a result. They're at home. Leeds are playing well, but they're so in and out. I'm going to say 2-1 Brighton. Danny Wells.
I'm going to go 1-1.
Why?
I just feel like Brighton, they're on the cusp of relegation. They're going to pull something out. I think, yeah. Leeds don't really travel well. 1-1.
Okay. Chelsea Fulham. That's a 2-0 Chelsea for me.
1-0 Chelsea.
Okay. Everton Villa. So Everton are home. Now Villa travel okay. Everton's home form hasn't been fantastic. I'm going to say 1-1.
2-2.
Yes, actually, I'm going to go with that. I'm taking that back. I want 2-2. I like 2-2. Sounds better. 2-2.
Yeah.
Next one's Newcastle Arsenal.
Oh. I'm going to go 1-1.
Okay. I'm going to say 2-1 to Newcastle.
Entirely possible.
Entirely possible. Then, the big game of the weekend, Man United versus Liverpool.
Wow. At Old Trafford, right? I'm going to go 2-1 Liverpool.
Oh, wow. I didn't think you're going to say that. I'm going to say 1-1.
Okay.
Boring game. 1-1.
I back Liverpool. I think 2-1.
I hope you're right. Spurs Sheffield United.
Oh, yeah. Spurs 3-0.
I'm going to say, you know what? Sheffield United are going to just do something in that game. I've got a feeling, because sometimes relegated teams all of a sudden are so relaxed that they just play okay football. So 2-1 to Sheffield United, I'm going to say that again.
Wow.
We got West Brom. Huge score, yeah. West Brom versus Wolves. I'm going to say 2-1 to West Brom.
I'm going to go 0-0.
Oh, okay. And then Burnley West Ham. I'm going to say West Ham need to pick up some points there, really. But Burnley have come off a 4-0 victory against Wolves. I'm going to say 2-1 Burnley. Burnley at home.
I'm going to say 2-1 West Ham.
Okay. So that's the predictions. That's the end of this week's episode. So next week, what we're going to do, we're going to look at those games, of course, as ever. But I've got a question that I'm going to fire at you for next week. So a big one as well. The question is going to be, who are the top 3 players from Liverpool and who are the top 3 players from Arsenal and why? So, naturally, me being a Liverpool fan, I feel I'm qualified to talk about that. Arsenal being an Arsenal, I would rather being an Arsenal fan is qualified to talk about that too. And we may have a guest on. If not, we may have some callers. We'll see. But the thing that we're really, really going to be getting our teeth into is the top 3 players. I know Armin's got about 100 players in his head. I know I've got about at least 50 that I could reel off and say this guy definitely deserves it. And for the Liverpool ones, I'm going to try and divert away from the obvious ones because Otherwise, it's just a boring podcast and boring conversation. So I'll give you reasons why. And I want some facts on it, not just feelings. There has to be some facts in this conversation.
Oh,
but other than that, thank you very much for joining us. It's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure. Episode 9. Ahmed, as ever, has been fantastic. No dead opinions from you this week. It was a surprise. First time in 9 weeks, people. You heard it first. Ahmed's had an opinion for us.
I've broken my streak.
You have broken your streak. So thank you for joining us. And we'll see you next weekend. Bye.
Absolutely. Bye.